Hey everybody, it's Jesse, and in this stream, you all can watch me do my day-to-day work. I'm just a front-end developer at a university, and this is not scripted at all. And so I'll make mistakes and try to work through them, and hopefully we can help each other and learn together. So today we're going to continue with what we were doing yesterday, and that is trying to turn this header into something that looks like this. So today I think we'll just work on this header portion. We'll save the side nav for another day because I don't think we'll get through it all in one stream. The main site, the main goal is to make this site run more quickly. So we'll load it up here. Not bad. That was a little bit faster than usual. The internet connection is good here, and this site is hosted on campus, so shouldn't be too much of a round trip. But you can see the current site. This is going to change significantly. I went over a lot of the changes in yesterday's stream, so if you missed that, you could check that out. Probably it'll be in the first half of that stream. So this is a copy of that page with most of the stuff removed. So I haven't done that much since yesterday. Let me show you what I did do. So yesterday, one of the last things we did was make a test version of this main nav component, and we had it connected to the main nav .cs file. Whoops. And I just noticed I put 2 dots in there, so let's rename that now before it messes something up. There we go. And sorry about that, my phone's ringing. I don't recognize the number, so I'm just going to let it go. Okay. So now that has the correct name, and what we've done is we've imported this in here as main nav test. So the reason I did that is because I was looking through this a little bit, and there were some areas where I thought we may want to change the markup. Like for instance, we do have some HTML, that we may want to change. So I figured, may as well make a test page, first. If you weren't watching yesterday, an important thing to know about this project is that this file structure that you just saw a second ago here, these are the live files for the site. So there is no test site. There is something that they call a test site, but it shares all the same files. So I'm not really sure what about it is a test site. I think maybe it has a different database, but so that's why we have to make copies, test copies of all these files before we make anything go live. Alright, so let me check out the live chat. Just to say hello to everyone before we get started. Hey everybody. Alright, so the way I divide up things in this stream is with a Pomodoro timer. So I'm going to start this, and we're going to do 25 minutes of coding, and then I'll do 5 minutes of answering questions in the live chat. And I'll check back in periodically during the coding in the live chat, especially if I need some help, or if I get to a point where I think someone might have something to say, then I'll check back over there. But otherwise, if you ask a question during that 25-minute period, just hang in there, and I'll do my best to get to it during the 5 minutes. After we do probably about 2 Pomodoro sessions. Then I'll take the end of the stream and answer any questions that are left over that I didn't get to. So if you can stick around to the end, your question will be answered eventually. And if you can't stick around to the end, go ahead and ask it anyway, and then you can catch the recording later on. It's also not a bad idea just to ask a question whenever I am coding, and there are a lot of people in the live chat that are so knowledgeable, more knowledgeable than me, and on a lot of things, and they can help you out as well. Okay, so let's get started. I think I saw some new names I haven't seen before in the live chat. So if you're new, welcome. Thank you so much for joining in the live chat and for watching. All right, let's get started. One thing that we're definitely going to have to do is change the structure of this nav bar. I mean, the HTML is significantly different. So that's what we'll work on first. I'm also using Materialize, the Materialize CSS framework to do this. So we're going to bring that in. I'm hesitant to bring in another framework on a site that's already really slow, but we're already loading jQuery, so we're not adding anything by using a framework that's going to need jQuery as well. And we can't get rid of it. There's just too much on the site already that's using it. So since we already have jQuery, I think it'll be all right. What we'll probably end up doing is after we get everything looking how we want, we can go through the Materialize JavaScript and CSS and remove anything that we're not using and get those file sizes down as small as we can. But I think the benefit of being able to use a lot of the things that are built in to Materialize is going to outweigh our any slight increase. I think in load times. It'll be minimal. Okay, this is also officially Project 3 now in the videos. So in the titles of the videos, I'll put in parentheses at the end of each title. It'll be P3 for Project 3, and then I'll put D. This is day 2, so it's D2. That way it'll be a little bit easier to keep up. I'll probably make a playlist. Once I get a few more videos, I'll make a playlist specifically for this project. This project we may have to work on a little bit and then do some other stuff and then maybe come back to it. This is a really large site. It's going to be an ongoing project. I'm going to move this over to my other screen, and I'm also going to move this over because DevTools is probably going to be more useful at this point, and also my my editors. So at first, let me get Adam. Also, I finally figured out on Project 2, I figured out how to position that checkbox icon. So if anybody's interested in how I did that, just ask it in the live chat, and I'll get to it during one of the question and answer sessions. So it took me 3 times as long as I estimated that it would take. It was quite frustrating, but I finally got it to the point where it works and it looks the way I want it to look. Okay, so here's the Trello board for this project. A lot of stuff going on here. I'm not sure if I even have one for the header right now. I'm not going to worry about this now. The reason I scrolled over was to get to this. So this is the project that you just saw, the goal header, right? How we want it to look. So I want to grab the markup for that nav from here, bring it over, and then we'll go from there in trying to plug in the data from the content management system, and the CMS that we're using is called Ectron. It's pretty old, so we'll see how it works. We're just gonna have to learn it as we, how things are put together as we go along. All right, this is the side nav. We're not gonna mess with the side nav right now. Okay. So I think this should be it. If we just grab this nav element, and we can double check nav. Actually, we're gonna need this div as well. We need to grab the entire header. Let's bring over the entire header. We're gonna need to do it at some point anyway, so we may as well do it now. Like I said, we're not really gonna work on the side nav for now. That's interesting. I think I can safely take that out. Everything's working. It's been commented out for a while. Okay. I was just thinking we could potentially split this up into two different components, but I think it'll be easier to start out with just to put it all in the main nav component, and then if we feel like it's too much at some point, we can always split it out at that point. Okay, so now that we have that, we shouldn't really need to come back to this, except maybe to grab maybe some of the materialized code. I want to see where I'm loading this, if I'm using a CDN or not. Okay, so I am importing the JavaScript from a CDN, but I'll want to get the latest version, so we can just go on materialize and figure out where the latest versions are. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to leave this in for now, and we're just going to have to edit this to make it work with our search box. All right. I think all right, all of this is commented out. I'm going to get rid of this because we can always refer to it in the version, the non-test version of this, in case there's something in here that would be useful to us. But for now, I'm just going to get rid of all of this. Yeah, we're just going to get rid of the nav. I guess we can't. I want to keep some of this down here. So this template. So everything inside this repeater I do want to keep for now, just to reference it. But all of this can go. Oops. Let me know if the font size is big enough. There we are. Okay. So that's everything. And I should be able to paste. Wow, the indentation on this is not great. Let's bring it back a bit. So I'm using Visual Studio Code for this, which I don't normally use. So that's a little bit of a different feel to it. So I'm still kind of getting used to that. Alright, let's see. Alright. So let's paste this in now. And there we go. So we do have, so we have the header and the nav. So we can get rid of we can get rid of this nav, and I guess this UL. And I guess I'll worry about indentation later. I'm going to take that out. It's commented out, so probably don't need it. And that's where it was closed. We'll take that out as well. And here's our huge side nav. Okay, this is what I wanted. So now we got down to here. Let's take these two out since we deleted them up there. These are just closing tags for what we deleted. And let's grab, you know what, let's remove this, and we'll just pull up the other version of this, the live version, and then we can put it over here and just look on, refer to it on that side. So let me bring this up. Okay. Alright, so let me scroll down. Good. So this is what we want to bring in. This repeater, and then there's a template for our links in here. So we kind of just want to break this down, try to figure out what's going on and what data is being imported. Hopefully the names are going to be descriptive enough that we'll be able to tell what's going on. We may have to just kind of look around a bit and refer to the site and figure it out. But we should have all the data that we need, just from this template basically to populate our new nav. So the social media, I think I mentioned this yesterday, all the social media links, we're just going to keep them as is, and we'll just hard code the URLs. And I think right now I don't even have URLs in there right now. So we will hard code those in there, and I'm okay with that. Let's see. Logo. What we really need to worry about pulling in dynamically are these links. So donate, about, academics. The donate button can be hard coded. And probably these ones can be hard coded. This about academics, admissions, faith life. Those are not likely to change. It's more these interior links. Actually, if these aren't likely to change, it may be a lot easier than I thought to put in the new header. What'll be the tricky part is the side nav. So we may actually get to the side nav. We'll see. We'll see how tough it is to get this header working. We still haven't even tested it. Let's see. We do need to hook up this search input. So we need to see how it's working here and try to pull in all the same values and see if it can work here as well. So actually bringing in this TextBox search. I'm just checking the live chat briefly. Okay. Let's see. I think this is probably, we're gonna have to find this. because I want to make sure input. That's interesting. I must have opened up the site in DevTools and pulled in the names from into there, which was okay and would normally work, but I'd rather pull it in here since we can get these values kind of more directly. So let's try to find this text box. Let's see. Let me get out of Zen mode so I can get to here. So what was that called again? It was the text box and class text box. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, this is some of the search stuff, but not the text box. Okay, I was hoping it was in there, but I don't think it is. So let's see where else. ASP text box. I want to check out what the output of this is. If it's just simply an input, then we don't really need to know anything else. And that'll be fine. Is we'll just put in these values. So let's look at the site in DevTools. And all right, so this is the input. Search. Let me make sure. Oops. All right, so it is this div is header search. So within that div, yes, all we have is just the input. Great. All right, then we don't really need to find out where this text box is coming from. Let's just plug in these values that we need. So probably the easiest thing will be to just copy this whole thing and paste it in there, and we'll make sure we add the right class names for our styles to work. So we want the placeholder, I guess it can be searched with the dots, that's fine. Name search, type search, class tbx search ID. Okay, that looks good. I actually don't really have any other class names, so this will be perfect. Okay, great. And that should be it. The search should work now. You can see there's nothing else, being pulled in here. This is just plain HTML. The same way with this icon here. So all this should be fine. Great. Now, while we're doing this, we should probably put it in the side nav as well, since I have a search input in the side nav. So let me double check to see if I have anything different going on. I don't think so. So let's put that in there as well. All right, now that's ready, and those should work. We could actually, I wonder what this looks like now that we've been kind of messing around with it. Where did I put this on another screen? Okay, we're definitely getting some errors here. Let me pull this over to show you the errors that we're getting. I do want to double check and make sure that none of those errors are bleeding over into the main site. Okay, good. It still loads. This site's really buggy, so sometimes I'll change something that seems like it should be fine and not affect anything. I mean, just extremely simple things will be changed, and large portions of the site will just go down and display something like this. So I want to be really careful about double checking. This is our main website. It gets a lot of traffic, in the millions of visits, like on a yearly basis, millions. So it's by far the most visited of all the sites that I work on here for the university. So realistically, if I accidentally took the site down, potentially we could lose money from donors and from potential students. So it's worth the caution. All right, so let's see. An error occurred. It's already used by another control. Oh, okay. Maybe we are going to have a problem since we have things with the same ID. Yeah, that could be a problem. What ID did we have before? Let me check this. TextBox search. All right, we're gonna have to think about what we want to do then for the search. Actually, let's check this out right now. I think there is a like a mobile search, so I'm interested to see what happens there. So let's shrink this down and click search, and let's see if it's the same input or what's going on there. Is there an ID? I'm not seeing an ID at all. Okay, so it's mobile search box, mobile search, placeholder search, display inline block. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. What I think might be the simplest thing, just to test this out, would be just to change the ID. And let's see. Yeah, we'll just change the ID and see what happens, and see if we can get it to work. We should be able to check. Yeah, if what we could possibly do is just have two functions here, and this is in, I believe, C#. I don't have very much experience at all with C#, so if I'm messing up any terminology, I apologize, and please let me know what the right way to talk about this stuff is. Alright, so let me button search click. Okay, I'm just checking to see if these exist somewhere else in the same file. Search click. I'm just not sure how these link up. Okay, button ID, button search. Where did this come from? That's just, okay, so that's just hanging out at the end here. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how. Right, so the OnClick that's firing off this function, it's button search click. The OnClick handler is down here on this button with the class button search. But this is what's actually visible to the user. So I'm just trying to figure out how these are linked up. Interesting. I want to check to see if there's, okay. Okay, here, this is that button, and we can see it's not, there's nothing. It's not visible. Oh, you know what? I bet the answer is up here. I had forgotten that there was some code up at the top, some JavaScript. So we'll see. Okay, so they're grabbing the TextBox search. So this key press 13, I think, is enter. So if they're going to hit enter, then it's going to, okay, then it's going to just click. Using jQuery, it's going to click the button search. All right, interesting. So they have a hidden submit button, and they're just using jQuery to make that button get clicked. That works. I definitely, I don't think I would do it that way, but I'm not upset about it because I understand what's going on, so that's good. It works. Two top search, text search. Actually, this is interesting too. They have this commented out. Where's this function? It looks like they changed it. Okay, my timer went off, so I'm gonna do my 5 minutes of question and answer in just a second. But I just wanted to see if you all see this. It's really interesting. Let me switch this to JavaScript for a minute so we can get some highlighting. Here we go, and that'll be a lot easier. Actually, this is not bad. Let's see how that's. I might just leave it as JavaScript highlighting because that looks pretty good. So if you check this out, so our button search click, it's at one point it seems like maybe this was the way they had set it up, and then they changed their minds. which makes sense. Like I said, this is not the way I would have done it, but they changed their minds and they grab the value and then run this function to do the search, and it's actually changing the URL of the page and then just adding the search value as a query string right at the end of the URL. So that's how they decided to do the search. So really, we can get rid of all this stuff that's not in use and just kind of make this smaller, clean it up. We can also get rid of that button. And now that we know how this works, it really doesn't matter much what we're going to do with that mobile search, because the search essentially is just, it seems like it's all taken care of here. I want to double check. Alright, when we come back from the 5-minute break for questions, the first thing I want to do is, well, I want to remove this button in our test file, but then also in our CS file, I want to look at this and try to figure out what's going on and if this is even being called at all, because I think the answer is no. I think that this is not even in use, so that we could also remove this, and yeah, we could remove this, or potentially we could get rid of a lot of this jQuery and then make use of this. I'm not sure what the best one is, but let me know, anybody especially that knows more about, you know, kind of .NET stuff than I do, which is probably anybody that knows anything about .NET. Let me know, what do you think the best way to do this would be? It may not matter. Is it better to use jQuery to change the location? And we could refactor this and not use jQuery if we really wanted to. But I think we're gonna need it for other places on the site, so I don't think it would be useful to get rid of it. Or is it better to do it like this? Yeah, let me know what you think. So let me start. Oops, I'm gonna start my 5-minute timer. I'm gonna do. Whoops, sorry, my camera froze. I just now saw that. Yeah, so if you remember, if you were watching yesterday, you know my camera kept freezing and I had to just restart it. This is just the built-in camera on my iMac monitor, so I don't know what to do about it. We'll see. If it keeps doing this and it's a problem, I might just get another camera. Alright, so I'm scrolling up to the top of the live chat. I'm going to run through and just try to find the questions and get as many as I can in. Abdullah, not exactly sure how you pronounce the end of that, so sorry about that. It says, what's the best laptop for coding? Yeah, it depends on what operating system you like to use, which is, so Smoke One says, also mentions that, depends on your operating system. I really like my MacBook Pro. I think it's great to work on. It starts up, it's fast, it has good battery life. I've been less than impressed with a lot of the Windows laptops that I've had before, but I don't think it's a fair comparison because I've never bought a Windows laptop that was as expensive as a MacBook Pro. So if I were to buy a Windows laptop that was that expensive, maybe it would be as good or better. I'm not sure. I've never used Linux on a laptop, so I don't know, but my next laptop purchase, you know, for my own personal use is probably going to be Linux. I'd really like to try it out. But I do have a MacBook. I think it's like a 15-inch MacBook Pro, and it was the last model that still had the HDMI connection, and that's been really useful for me because so many things hook up through HDMI. So I really like that. I don't remember what year that is, maybe 2015 or something like that. So the newer models have that touch bar thing, which that's pretty cool too. But I think everything's done through USB-C connectors. So for right now, it's somewhat of a problem because a lot of your older things don't use USB-C, so you need a lot of adapters. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Not really technical, but those are just some of my observations. No Beer says, Jesse, can you give us the code that you have on localhost? Yeah. So let's see. I figure you're probably talking about, where's it at? I've lost it. Is it here? No. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you were talking about that example site that I was showing. And I do have that code available, so let me find the repo for you so I remember what the name of it is. Let's see. Okay, so here's the repository. Oops. So I haven't done this. Is just the initial. I just wanted to put this on GitHub so you all have it. So here it is. I definitely want to update Materialize because this is using an older version. So I want to update that. That'll probably be one of the first things I do to change this. And then we're also going to be developing a lot of the UI elements here because we can make use of my local development environment. We'll develop it here and then transfer it over into the test versions, the test files that we have for the actual site, and plug in the values that we need, into the templates. So we'll basically convert these into templates that'll work on the site. But it's going to be a lot faster to get them to look how we want them to look here locally, and then move them over. So that'll kind of be the workflow. We'll just switch over and try to go one component at a time. But I will put this in the live chat. And actually, I just saw Umberto has a bunch of comments, so I'm assuming I did something wrong. Usually when I see a lot of comments like that, it means I did something wrong. So let me see. Oh, web forms, this still could be suggestions. Okay, so let me read a little bit of what Umberto said because it's definitely it's useful and it pertains to a lot. So if you don't know from being in the live chat, Umberto, he knows about C#, and he's actually doing his own YouTube videos. So about that, which I may be watching those. I want to watch them anyway. But now I may really want to be watching them so that I can know how to work on this project. All right, so let me read out what he said. So he said, basically, said you might really want to create a separate folder with its own web config and remove the custom errors from the main web config. When you add an ASP control and give it an ID, that ID is available as an object in the code behind. ASP uses a feature where you can make a handler by using the ID underscore handle events signature in the code behind. So awesome. So that definitely explains a lot of what I was trying to guess at. So sorry about that. I should have looked over and saw that. That would have saved me a lot of time. So, yes, that's basically what's going on here. Then is we can, let me read this so I get it right to explain this. Control and given an ID that is available as an object. Alright, so yeah, so we can have the ID which was button search. Okay, so we have button search, right? Click. So on button search click, then it's gonna run this, right? So and you can get the event. So that's what's going on here. That's how they were connected up. Oops, there we go. Sorry. That's it. Okay, yeah, now I remember. So we did end up figuring that out at some point because we have this OnClick of button search click, right? But we can also get, right, so this was the ID. I'm not going to scroll up, but I'm pretty sure that was the ID. So Umberto was saying that the ID is available as an object in the code behind. So that's where you can get this txb search.text. So I wasn't sure how that exactly that was available, but that's evidently that's normal for ASP. So search page URL. Okay. Cool, that makes more sense now. Thank you, Umberto. Let me write down where I left off at in the live chat so I can go back to it. Which early video shoot the work session? Actually, we just had a someone had another question about the link for sorry, I'm trying to type and talk at the same time. There was one other question about the link to the very first video where I talked about this, which was I actually had done months ago on my channel. So I'm going to put that link in the live chat right now, and I'll have to remember to put that into the description of the video or something. But that link that I just posted in the live chat, that will take you to the video on my own channel where I introduce this website and I kind of go through it in a lot more detail than I did yesterday and explaining what's wrong with it and what needs to be done. Alright, so now let's get started with our other session. So this will be our last session of coding, and Umberto, I'm not going to make the, Umberto recommended making a separate folder with its own web config. I'm not going to do that right now because I think that'll be involved and I'll make a lot of mistakes. And I don't have time for that. So it'll either be maybe for tomorrow's stream, or I'll try to do it before tomorrow's stream. Okay. So what are we gonna do? So I think we can. So I think we can get rid of this. Oh, okay. We were going to see if we wanted to use this, and what I think now. Let me see if anyone else had any opinions on that. Let's see. Okay, so I don't think anyone had any opinions one way or the other, but I'm thinking I'm way more familiar with JavaScript and jQuery than I am with C#. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to continue to use the jQuery. Search page URL. I'm double checking here just to make sure. Yeah. I don't think this is, let me know, especially Umberto, I don't think that this is doing anything here other than Basically, it was doing the same thing that this jQuery was doing. It was just changing the URL. So I'll remove that. We have the other copy of it, so if I end up removing something and it really messes things up, we'll be fine. Just trying to see if we had that. I should have done this. No, actually, I already checked beforehand whether the name of that anything in there was elsewhere. So I think we're good. And now, did I already remove this? No, now I can remove this as well. Great. I love when I get to remove lots of code. I guess that wasn't a lot of code, but still, it feels good. Alright, now what we need to do is give this a different ID. So side nav. So we're just going to add side nav onto the end of that. And then up here, we're going to make sure that we TextBox search key press. Actually, we're already looking at the TextBox search. Do top search. Value. All right, I think this will work, right? So we were getting an error because we had two TextBox components with the same ID. So we changed the ID, but the jQuery was actually trying to get the class, and it looks like everything's still going to work properly even if they have the same class, which is great. At first I thought if they were using IDs I would have to duplicate this, which wouldn't be great. Also, we're not going to have a mobile search box, so we can remove this and image search. I think this is a click on the icon, which we don't have that icon anymore. But let's make sure. Let me scroll down to our text box here and search icon. So we are using the class search icon for, let's make sure we're doing it for both. No, we're not. Let's add the class. Actually, I'm not sure. We may have styles attached to that, so I don't want to just add the search class. Search inputs. Search. Wow, we're not using. I guess we do have the search icon up here. Oh, what is this for? I gotta double check and see what I did with this with this nav bar, and I can't. It's not this. I'll just bring it up. Which is it? 3,000 and is it 1? Yep, that's it. All right, let me see what I was doing here. Oh, okay. That's why I couldn't figure out why I had two SVGs. It's the close. So I have the wrong SVG class image search. Okay, great. So I've already given this the right class of this image search. So let's just make sure we use the same. Oh, we are using the same class. All right, so we're already good. So I had already taken care of that, and I had done this months ago, so that's why I did not remember at all. So that should still work. So if you see, we're already looking for that class, and then we have a click handler on that class to do the search based on that value. So if enter is pressed, so this e which equals 13, that bothers me that it's only 2 equals. So I'm gonna fix that. So anyway, this will work to do a search. So enter will work. A click on the search icon will also work, and then search button. We're not going to have a separate search button, so we can remove that as well. We'll keep this here, this check, and we'll also keep this. And so this should all work, and we managed to remove a good bit of it, and it should still work. So let's test it out. We're still getting. Oh, I gotta refresh. I'm so used to the auto refresh when I'm working locally that I keep forgetting. Let's see, repeater outer data source data. And once again, I do want to keep refreshing this just to make sure. Okay, great. Okay, so let's see what line we're on. Main nav test, line 33. Okay. So let's check line 30. Whoops. Yeah, line 33. Okay, maybe. Let's see. All right, just my first thought on this error is that since the IDs of things are passed automatically here, is that something that I deleted, the ID was being passed in and used somewhere in here, and now that's why I'm getting the error. So I guess I'll go through quickly and check this out. Scroll button, menu, custom properties, data, let's see. Let's see. I don't think I've seen anything. Let me check the live chat, see if you all have seen anything. Okay, so Umberto is saying taxonomy data looks like a custom class and taxonomy manager. Okay. Alright, so we're using taxonomy data. Let's see. Okay, repeater outer. So we did see this, right? Repeater outer data source root data. So let's see all the places where this is, just to see if this maybe has something to do with anything. Okay. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check some of the things, the classes of some of the things that I deleted, and or I'm sorry, the IDs, just to be sure. Alright, no results. And what did we remove? We didn't remove that. What did we remove? I don't know that we really removed anything. Oh, did we remove? No, we kept that. Let's double check. Where is it? Did I get rid of this repeater completely? I thought I left it in, and maybe I didn't. Okay, I think that I think that's the reason. So it's looking for this, and it doesn't. It's not finding it. So let's grab. Let's grab this, and we'll just put it in here somewhere. Oops. So we're probably going to end up using this in the side nav, but for now I'm just going to throw it in here so that we quit getting the error. I just want to test the checkbox or the search box just to make sure it actually does work. So let's see. All right, what do we have? Let's make sure. Test. Okay. Okay. All right. So Umberto says no space. Is that Umberto? Yeah. No space after the colon. Okay. I don't know how a space got in there. That's crazy. Look at that. How did that happen? So there was no space in there, and then when I pasted it, there was a space. Really weird. Okay. Let's try it out now. What the heck? Oh, more spaces. Let's make sure. Okay. Let's see. All right, cool. I can't see the search bars though. Okay, that makes sense because I didn't bring in. Let's see what the what actually got pulled in. The heck is all that? Okay. All right. Wow. Okay, body. Okay, I think maybe it's, yeah, there we go. There's a header and your all right, where is my nav? All right, let me see what what markup I even have in here. Okay, so the header. Let's go to our main file and see. Main test master. Let's see where we're pulling that in at. Wow, what should I? Let's see. Let's see what that does. Actually, I don't really like how that looks. Let's do it as let's try HTML. Alright, that's better. Okay. So our main content. So our nav. Here we go. Okay. Our main nav should be in between the utility nav and the utility nav mobile. Alright, actually we don't even want that mobile nav anymore. We're just gonna have one nav. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that, and I'm not sure what that utility nav is. I'll leave it in for now, but I think we'll probably be able to get rid of that as well. I don't want this. See, there's a lot of this markup here. Mobile menu buttons. Yeah, we don't need this. Mobile search box. TextBox search. Oh yeah, we don't need a lot of this. Yeah, so let me get rid of a lot of this since we don't need it. We don't need that. And yeah, we don't need this. And we don't even need the header class. Yeah, I think this is probably going to cause errors, but I don't need any of this stuff. Menu container. I'm getting rid of this too. Alright, section gone, go block gone, section. Yeah, get rid of all of that. There we go. Let's get rid of that and get rid of some of these spaces. Okay. Alright, so we've got basically what we've done is there was a lot of markup here that is actually taken care of inside of this main nav component now. So we have main nav 1. Oh, you know what? We actually changed the name, so that's probably a big reason why this didn't work. That would make sense. So I think initially it was main nav 1, and then I changed it to test, and I never changed it in here. So main nav test, tag name main nav. Okay, I left it as main nav, and for some reason it's saying main nav 1. So let's put the right name in here if I can find it. There we go. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter. No, this is the this is what matters. Okay. So main nav, and I want to remove the things that we took out of here. So that utility nav is gone, and utility nav mobile is gone. Okay, some of this other stuff is going to go as well, but we'll wait till we get to that point. All right, let's save that and see what kind of errors we're going to get. All right, content block top default, content ID top header. Okay. All right, so we're going to need to get rid of some stuff here in our main test master.cs file. So let's check that out now. All right, so where are we at? Line 40. So in line 40, we can get rid of this top header because we totally removed that. Okay, and let's see. Top header. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. A lot of these sections are so that you can control what's in the header through the CMS, but I don't need parts of the header that need to be controlled will be controlled, but that's mainly just going to be the links, and that's only going to be in the side nav. So it's better just to take it out. And all right, let's see if anything else. Everything else seems like it's dealing with the footer. Okay. All right, let's try that. I'm really surprised at how easy it is to catch on to what's happening. So, like I said, I've pretty much never used C# before or anything .NET, other than me kind of messing around with it a few months ago. But it's well, you know, they say that programming concepts, the concepts remain the same. It's just syntax that's different. All right, so I still don't see the search bar, but I would like to check out what's going on over here. Page, outer wrapper. Actually not sure why we're still getting that. Yeah, I don't think we should be getting that menu. Okay, so here is our interesting. Okay, so basically we are getting the correct output on the screen. It's just seems like there's some styles that are either conflicting or just not working because we didn't pull in any of the wow, it's just all it's probably just something simple that I could find in DevTools. Okay, this is the on mobile stuff. Okay, yeah, we don't. Obviously, since we don't have the media queries that are supposed to govern this, probably what's happening is so the desktop menu must be hidden somewhere. I just can't find. I just can't find where it's being hidden. I guess it would just be, here we go. OnClick, show on large. No, actually, now that I think about it, none of the classes will work. So I'm not sure. I'm not worried about it showing up here. That's just a matter of bringing in the right styles. But you can see we are actually getting what we want. The main thing that I'm worried about here is checking to see that we can get that search bar. So where is the search bar? Let's let me see where it should be. Okay, so if I search input, okay. If we look for search input, great. All right, so we do have an input here, and it looks like, I mean, it looks good. This looks like it has what it should. Let's see if we can bring this out somehow. Display block fixed top 0 0. All right, let's see. See if we can find it. No. No, it's still down there. Okay. All right, so for whatever reason, I can't see anything. So let's go over. My timer turned off. So I'm going to do, well, I guess that's it. So we're just going to do 2 Pomodoro sessions today. And I have an appointment in a little while, and it's going to take me probably a half hour or so to drive there, so I gotta make sure. Oops, my camera's off again. Sorry about that. So anyway, I gotta make sure I'm not late for that. That's why I streamed a bit earlier than normal today. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back up to where I was before and answer as many questions as I can. I should be able to get to them all. It doesn't look like there's too many. If you can't stick around for the question and answer session, thank you so much for watching. I'll probably be back tomorrow around 2. Did it freeze again already? No, it never unfroze. I forgot to put in my password. I keep running. I keep running this command. It's sudo kill all vdc assistant every time it freezes, and that makes it unfreeze temporarily. So anyway, let me get to the questions. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in the live chat now, and I should be able to get to it here in a few minutes. Okay. Okay, No Beer says, I can't install Visual Studio Code Editor. I'm using Windows 8.1. I tried several times to install it, but it comes up with an error. Help me, please. Oh, man. I'm not sure. I don't have any machines that are running Windows 8.1, so I've never had anything running it. So I'm really kind of at a loss for how to do things on there. But hopefully there's somebody else here in the live chat that has some experience with it. All right, let's see. Okay, Umberto says the bad thing about ASP.NET is that it uses a lot of postbacks, so page refreshes, at least for forms. Yes, I've noticed that every time I do have to do anything with .NET, the whole thing's in a form. So I don't know if you noticed this, but I mean, check this out. Where's it at? So the whole thing is in a form, right? So let's look at that. That's all of our content basically in this form. It's just weird. Why is it all in a form? And then it messes it up. So trying to do things within this form, like forms within a form, I've always had trouble with this. So yeah, and the page refreshes are terrible. So I much prefer sending form data with fetch or with Ajax, XHR, and not having a refresh. So anyway, I'm sure maybe if I knew more about it, it wouldn't be such a big deal, and there's probably some way to work with it. Harshit says, where is this site hosted? Okay, it is hosted here on campus in a different building than I'm at, but probably, I don't know, less than 200 yards from me is the server that hosts this website. So it's actually hosted on servers here. But hopefully that will change when we redo the site. So when we rebuild it, we'll probably rebuild it with React. And I don't know what we'll use for content management. Maybe WordPress. Maybe if we can find something else. I'd kind of prefer to have something, Node.js based, just to keep the whole stack JavaScript. I'm like somewhat thinking about just making my own really lightweight CMS. I think that would be cool, but we'll see. So anyway, at that point it'll be hosted elsewhere. So maybe, I don't know, maybe DigitalOcean, AWS. I'm really not decided yet as to where it'll be hosted, but it'll be something like that. Okay, Umberto, I see now that you asked if I deleted the repeater. Yeah, that was in fact the problem. So sometimes I don't look over fast enough to the live chat, but I appreciate you all pointing out what I'm missing, even though I don't always get to it right away. Oh wow, Umberto even gave me the line, the number is line 152. Thank you so much. Again, I'm sorry that I didn't see it. Nicholas asked, "Is the React Project 2 complete?" It's almost complete. I worked on just some little stuff, some positioning, like positioning of UI elements and things. The only major thing left to do is handle the kind of clean up the email templates a little bit so that an email gets sent to the user who submits a form, and it also gets sent to our project manager, and making sure that those emails look all right. That's about it. Also, possibly just some testing in different devices and things like that. But there's really not anything significant that I could do a stream about that I think would be really interesting. So that's why I switched over to this. So I'll be handling those last few things, kind of earlier in the day. And then I'll be doing this for the stream. And I still need to get some feedback from people in my department about Project 2 to see what they think, see if there's any changes needed. It's possible if something comes up that I think would be good to do a stream about, then I might go back and we'll switch it up and go back to Project 2 and then kind of go back and forth. And then it'll be in the title of the videos it'll say what project it is. But basically at this point I consider it for the most part done. I think it could be in less than a day. I think it could be in shape to where it'd be completely ready to go. Alright, so Umberto says, so this ASP control takes a data source, the results from a query, for example, as data set. Okay. And generates the HTML markup for displaying it. Okay. It says you could learn all of the attributes to set for it, but usually people resort to using the designer in Visual Studio. Okay, yeah. So I read there was a manual, an Ectron manual that came with this content management system, and I looked through it, and a lot of the stuff was saying like use the designer in Visual Studio. Well, I don't have Visual Studio. I've never used it before, and I'm just like looking at this like, can I just edit the code? So I don't know, but to me it I feel more comfortable just looking at the code instead of trying to learn a different editor, kind of more like a visual editor. Hopefully I can do everything that I need to do without having to do that. So it's my understanding that Visual Studio for Mac is not the same as Visual Studio for Windows. So it wouldn't be a simple thing for me to get that. I'd have to either run Windows like as a second operating system on my Mac or get a better Windows. I have a really old Windows laptop for testing, and I don't want to run anything on that because it's too slow. But so far I've been able to do everything in the code that I wanted to do. World Boss says, is .NET better than JavaScript? So far, just from my experience, I prefer JavaScript, but I have very limited experience with .NET, so I guess just take that into consideration when you hear my opinion on that. That I'm probably not the best person to ask. I haven't had a fun time whenever I've had to work with .NET. The few times that I've had to work with it, I enjoy JavaScript a lot better, probably because I know it a lot better. Nicholas says, okay, Project 3 Day 2 is... yeah, that's it. So, yeah, the P3D2, Project 3 Day 2. So I just decided to shorten it like that because otherwise it adds way too much length to the titles. So hopefully it's not too confusing. Okay. Let's see. So we have somebody new saying hi, saying nice to meet you, but it's in some other characters. So I don't really know how to say that. So I'm going to try to translate that. All right, so sorry if this is wrong, if this is not really your name. I use Google Translate to try to figure this out. So is it Park John Pill? So hopefully that's your name. Once again, really sorry if I'm messing it up. But so Park John Pill says, hi, nice to meet you. Says so I think they're saying they're new here. So but welcome. Thank you so much for joining us and for saying hi in the live chat. Okay, John Hansen was saying I should add height. So when we were trying to find this, so I'm not gonna go back and mess with it now, but afterwards I'll try to get this to display so we can see what's going on there. Okay, so Umberto is talking about me posting this stuff on a repo so that he can port it over to MVC. So I'm interested in that, but I'm just wondering, like, is that, I don't know enough about this to even know what's entailed in this, but would that work within the system? I mean, would it work within, let's say, the Ectron system, or would this be something entirely different that would replace it? So I'm not sure, but I will. I'll try to get you the. I'll try to make a repo that I can have public. The only thing I'm worried about is there's a config file that has like usernames and passwords for the database. So I want to make sure that there's no more config files with information like that, hiding somewhere. So I just need to figure it out for sure, and then get everything together, and then I'll make a repo. So I don't know how soon I'll be able to do that, but I'll try to get it done. Maybe in the next week or two. Okay. Okay, Raphael says to work with ASP.NET Web Forms, you need Windows plus Visual Studio. Okay, so there probably is some stuff that I can't do, or I won't be able to do then. Alright, so hopefully for what I need to do, I'll be alright. But I don't know. I guess that's kind of good rationale for me maybe getting a new computer here at work. So that would be kind of cool. I mean, I'm still going to mainly develop on my Mac because I'm used to that. I like it, but it might not be a bad idea to have a good Windows machine as well. We'll see. If I asked, they'd probably just tell me to have the new web developer and the IT department handle everything. Because they're getting the new web developer gets a new Windows PC and a Mac. Okay. All right. I've gotten to the bottom of the live chat, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I wanted to say something. Now I'm forgetting. I want to say this, especially if anybody's watching. Actually, our viewers have kind of dropped off at the end there, which is kind of normal. But I know there are some people that watch the show that are also in the React Nano degree program. So here's a little bit of information that was helpful to me. You all maybe already know this. Maybe I just didn't read properly, but I was really worried that my second project, the Redux project, was due Friday. So I've been working on it a lot lately, trying to get it ready to turn in on Friday, thinking that it's due. I'm not gonna be able to finish the course if I don't do it. Well, I stayed up last night until 4 o'clock in the morning working on it. So from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. I'm working on it, and then I'm going through the list of requirements, and I'm thinking, you know what? There's still, I'm not going to finish this tonight. There's too much left. So I said I'm going to look up if I can get an extension. So I go read the course handbook, and it turns out that the deadlines to submit the projects are actually just suggested deadlines to keep you on track. The real deadline is the complete end of the nanodegree program, which I think for my start time, the end for me is at the beginning of November. So really, I have till the beginning of November to turn this thing in, and I stayed up almost all night, only got 3 hours of sleep, pretty much for no reason. It was okay. I mean, it was really nice to get like 6 uninterrupted hours to just work on it, and I feel way more comfortable with Redux now that I have that. And I did almost completely finish the project. So the UI is just completely a mess. It looks like something out of the 90s webpage. I might actually leave it like that because I think it's cool and it reminds me of the first websites I ever built. But anyway, I say that because I looked in the Slack channel for the nanodegree, and there were other people that had similar questions and weren't sure about it. So I gave them the link to the place where I found that information. So I'm thinking it's possible that there might be somebody watching this that that might not know, like I did. So don't freak out. You don't have to turn things in, on the due date. It's just suggested. So. But I do really want to get the project finished soon and move on, because the next project is going to be React Native, and I've never done anything with React Native, but I'm really excited about it. I don't know, I think that's really cool. It'll be awesome for me to have something on my phone, an app that I made. I don't know. It just seems really exciting to me. Websites are cool too, but like I've been doing websites for a long time, so it's lost some of the excitement. Like just the wow factor of doing it, the novelty is worn off. But anyway, so sorry to go on about that. I just wanted to try to be helpful. Okay, Ali asks, what is the React nanodegree? Okay, so it's okay. Ali says found it. Okay. Yeah, it says founded. It's pretty expensive. Yes, it was expensive. It was sometimes they have deals and you can get it for cheaper, but when I got it, there wasn't any like deal or anything. There was no discount, so it was $500. Which, when I think about it now, I'm like, why did I spend $500 on that? I wish I had $500 now. But at the time, I had recently completed a project and I just got a big check from a client, so I was spending like I was rich, and so it didn't bother me. And but I think it's been really useful so far. So I think it'll end up being worth it. I'll probably be a while before I do another nanodegree because it is a lot of work and money. But this has been really useful so far. I think I'm going to do maybe a review like video after I'm all done with it and just kind of go over like what I thought and what I learned. And maybe that'll help other people decide whether or not they actually want to pay, the $500 to do it as well. Okay, I just see Ali said, would you say it was worth it? Yeah, so far, like I said, it would be nice to have $500 right now that I paid for that, but so far it's been worth it, and I'm not even through the course yet. So I've learned a lot, and I've been able to use what I've learned in my projects for work, and it's helped me a lot for those projects. So like I learned about React Router, in the nano degree program, and I immediately started using React Router on my projects. So that was very useful. And I think I'll probably end up using Redux in one of my upcoming React projects, so that'll be useful as well. And I'm not really sure what kind of app I'll build, but I'm sure I'll figure something out to try to use React Native. I don't want to lose what I'm learning, so I really want to try to implement the stuff that I'm learning in real projects and just keep using it. Otherwise, if I wait a couple months, I'll probably forget a lot of what I learned, and then it would be more of a waste, and it wouldn't be the fault of the people who made the nano degree, it would be my own fault. Yeah, Shrey says you can learn all those things from a book as well and faster. Yeah, you can. There's definitely a difference. The one difference that I've noticed from the nano degree program that you don't get in a book is the code reviews. So there's live help, so I can just ask questions and have people look at my code just live and help me with parts of it. And then when my project is at a complete point where I think it's finished, I turn it in, and then people review my code and offer suggestions, like line by line suggestions for how I could improve it. And that's where I think the benefit is, because you're right, the actual information, I mean, you can get that wherever. You can just read the docs. And I actually did. I ended up reading through a lot of the Redux documentation, and then I really understood it a lot better. I mean, the course was nice too, but I got a lot out of the docs as well. So, yeah, and I guess actually I don't ever really use books. So when you can get it from books, but I just get it from websites. Like, why buy a book when you have more up-to-date information online for free? Not to say, like, I'm sure there are really good books out there as well. I just prefer reading it or watching a video. But anyway, also, like, the motivation of having deadlines is nice, of having these projects and like clear goals is really nice. If you're really self-motivated, you don't need that. But I'm really busy between my full-time job and my clients on the side and my 4 kids and my wife. I need some like goals and some pressure to force myself to learn things, on my own time and outside of work. So that's good for me in terms of making sure that I do it, because I don't want to not finish a class that I paid $500 for. So there's definitely pressure to make it worthwhile that I wouldn't have if it was just me. I would probably just put it off, and so there's definitely benefits to doing it, but it definitely depends on your learning style and your own motivation. The one thing too so Shay mentioned you can go faster. The one thing too is, I mean, this React Nano degree, it's not like a typical classroom setting, so you do go at your own pace. So in terms of speed, you're totally in control of how fast you go through the lessons and how fast you build the projects. But in a traditional classroom, I do agree that it's definitely way slower than you could do if you were learning on your own, for most people. Ali said, books are also out of date as soon as they are published. I would think that the course gets updated. The course actually has been updated a lot since I started, which was surprising. So that's cool. I mean, it's good and bad for me, because I'm in like the very first class that started. So the first day it came out, I started. So I'm going through, and as people find bugs, they get fixed, but I'm already past those lessons. So sometimes I see where they'll say they fixed all this stuff, and I'm like, whoa, I already figured it out. There's some things that were just a little buggy at first, and you just had to kind of work around it. So, but they progressively keep getting better as more people go through the course. So that's really cool. Okay. Oh, Shrey says, what about like Stack Overflow, Reddit? Yeah, I like to learn from Stack Overflow. I don't really go on Reddit often. Um, and then, there's other good online resources. So there's a lot of great YouTube channels. And then, right, obviously FreeCodeCamp is great. And there's just looking at code, reading the documentation for the things that I'm using is really helpful. Looking at other people's code on GitHub, and there are some good like online books, like the You Don't Know JS series is great, and it's all available for free on GitHub. So I think there's a lot of great free resources out there, but for me at least, at this point in my life with everything I have going on, this is probably the fastest way that I was going to learn more about React and Redux and React Native. It worked for me. In the past, when I had, let's say, more time and less money, that wouldn't have been the right choice for me. But for right now, I'm not saying I have a lot of money, but at the time, I happened to be able to spare that money, so and still be able to pay my bills. So. All right, so let me. Okay, there's another question. Shrey asks, "Hey, are you interested in Android programming? I've been into that lately, but I've also been interested in React Native. I'm not interested in directly programming Android, so I'm very interested in React Native, but I'm not interested in learning how to do, for instance, like to do Java or Kotlin for Android or Swift for iOS. I think iOS is still Swift. I'm not as interested in that. I only have so much time to learn. I'd rather just focus on JavaScript and try to get as good as I can with that than to know like a little bit about a lot of different languages. That makes sense for me in my career right now. I'm not opposed to switching. I'm not against other languages. It just so happens that I've already come so far with JavaScript that I think it would just be better for me at this point just to keep going with it. Smilers asked, do you have IT education? Not formal. So, I took a programming class, so a C++ programming class in college. But other than that, I don't have any formal education in this. It's all been kind of self-taught through almost exclusively free online resources, with the exception of this nano degree program and maybe like one course I bought from Udemy that was, I think it was on sale for like $10. So other than that, though, it's been all free resources and just kind of learning as I picked up clients and learning what I need to do to complete their projects. Okay. Oh, James, sorry, I missed your question earlier. I saw it and then I forgot about it. So James asks about tablets for coding. So saying, can I code with a tablet? If so, what would you suggest? He's asking, like, for instance, a Surface Pro 3. I don't have experience with that, so I don't know that I could be that helpful for you. I know there are some tablets that come with a keyboard. I would think, ideally, like, you would want that, right? Or I just can't imagine trying to do a lot of programming on a tablet without a dedicated keyboard, maybe even a mouse. So if I were looking for a tablet that I could code on, probably the biggest things for me would be like, is it powerful enough? Obviously, you're going to probably want to use some sort of like cloud development environment that'll run in the browser. But I would just kind of want to make sure that it's powerful enough to run that and not be too slow, and then that I could easily hook up a keyboard and mouse. Yeah, but other than that, I don't have any like hands-on experience, with using a tablet to code. Okay, I think I've gotten through all the questions now. Okay. All right. So I've gotten through all the questions now, and that's good because I'm going to have to leave soon. for I have a dentist appointment today, so I have to leave soon to go see my dentist. And all right, so awesome. So this will end up being a longer video than I anticipated, but we did some good work. We got a lot done. It may not seem like that much to look at. It actually looks worse than when we started, but behind the scenes, we worked through a lot of errors, got a lot done. I'm really excited about this. I feel like I'm finally starting to wrap my head around what's going on here, and this is good. I think we'll be able to do a lot to make this homepage, a lot faster and just a much better UI. And so I'm excited. I'm really excited about this. This will be cool. At least for me, a lot of people will notice this change. This will be a big change. So that'll be fun to see what people around here at the university think about it. So probably be back tomorrow around 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'll let you know for sure what time on Twitter. So you can follow me on Twitter if you like, or if you subscribe to this channel, you should get an alert at some point when I schedule the live stream. So, either one of those two, one of those two avenues will get you the time of the stream. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for helping out in the live chat. A lot of good advice and good help, and especially thanks to Umberto. Offered a lot of help and was very patient with me, really not knowing what I was doing. So I appreciate that. That was awesome that you were very, very patient and kind about telling me when I was doing something wrong. Again, thank you, and have a great day. I'll see everyone tomorrow.